We're gonna take a stroll through the grocery store and I'm going to help spread some knowledge, educate some of you out there if you're trying to shed a few pounds and or having a little bit of a hard time being healthy and don't really know what to look out for. If you're interested, please keep watching. Okay, so for instance, when you are in your oatmeal and cereal aisle, you want to look at the back of the package and check for the ingredients. Less ingredients is always better. You want to make sure that you are closest to the natural form of the food itself rather than all the fancy chemicals that they add in there. So for instance, when you see sugar-free items such as this, you just really want to beware, because when you look at the back of the package, although the nutritional label might be good and it might look like it's a low-calorie meal, but when you look at the ingredients on the bottom, you see there's a lot of fillers. I mean, we got calcium carbonate, artificial flavors, citric acid, aspartame, aspartame, potassium, ferric phosphate, hydrochloride, just stuff that your body really doesn't need. Now, I'm not saying don't get these things. I'm just saying that you want to use these sparingly. They don't need to be a staple if they've got a whole bunch of ingredients. So, like for oatmeal, I just get basic raw oats. And that way, you're just getting the raw oats. Sugar-free is really what you want to steer clear of, because that's when they put all the fake sugars in there. And if you suffer from migraines or headaches and or you have a lot of belly symptoms, then sugar-free might be the reasoning with all those fancy chemicals that they use. If you notice on the regular deal of oatmeal that has extra sugar, it doesn't have the aspartame and aspartame and sucralose and maltodextrin in there. So some of the good oatmeals that I like to buy is the basic raw oats or Nature's Path. Although they do add some sugars in there, it's fairly decent. I mean, you just have your oats, sugar, and maybe a little flavoring in there, or dried fruit. This is also a good brand because when you look at the back of the ingredients, you notice it doesn't have any fillers and it is just the basic raw whole ingredients that is good for you. You are aware and know what they are rather than the chemicals. Now the cereal aisle is very tricky because it looks like it's very healthy. You know, we got multi-fit. Let's look back on the back of the ingredients, and it's not too bad, but you do notice that they have some monodiglycerides, a little bit of glucose added, which is fine, sparingly, but not every single day and huge amounts of it. Companies and manufacturers are very tricky, and they disguise their packaging to look like it is super healthy for you, and in reality, when you look at the back of the ingredients, there are a lot of sweeteners, fillers, chemicals, preservatives that your body just doesn't need. For instance, Cheerios, one of the healthiest cereals out there, you would think, but you see where it says trisodium phosphate? Trisodium phosphate does not need to be going in your body. You really want to make sure on checking the back of these cereals before you purchase. A brand that is fairly decent and doesn't carry a lot of preservatives and chemicals is Kashi, and you might be getting a little added sugars and such, but the ingredients are fairly minimal. Your canned goods. I do like to get me some French style beaners. And the reason I like this is because I like to mimic soup, and I'm always making stews and stuff like that. And you want to make sure and wash these down because a lot of canned foods have a lot of sodium. Like for instance, this can of green beans, which is very good for you and it's a vegetable and it seems harmless, has 380 milligrams of sodium. So if you were to eat this entire can, which seems harmless, there is 3.5 servings, you are getting roughly 400 times 3, 1,200 milligrams of sodium. It's a lot better for you to get produce or frozen fruits and vegetables rather than in the can or in the packages. You'll get more vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that way, and less of the sodium. If it is a struggle for you to get your leafy greens in, spinach. It masks so well in smoothies. You can mix it in your food and you won't even really tell the difference. So good for you. Avocados are a great substitute for butters and margarines. If you want to lower your carbs, butternut squash. It tastes just like a potato when you steam it and or roast it. Soups are a great way to help you lose weight because they're very filling with the water content. But if you are having a lot of sodium with it, then it's just going to puff you up even more. It's a lot better for you to make your soups from scratch and fresh produce, and it'll be more tastier that way because here all you're getting is salt. Let's see, light and savory Progresso, and this is vegetable. Half of the stuff I don't even know what's on here. 500 milligrams of sodium, and there's 2 servings in here, so you're going to be getting about 1,000 grams of sodium just by eating this can. Stick to making your own soups, and that way you'll get less sodium and more of the nutrition. There is a good line that I like, and it's Amy's Soups, and they don't have all of the fancy preservatives. Every ingredient on here you can recognize what it is. Beans. It's a lot healthier for you to just get a bag of beans, pop them on the stove, put some water in there, boil them up, and you're just getting the beans, less sodium, more nutrition. When you're shifting to a more healthier lifestyle, you also want to flavor your foods. That's where it's at. Spices are pretty fun. Just make sure that they don't have a lot of sodium. We don't want to puff ourselves up. A lot of people switch to being healthy and then they start spicing their stuff up, eating soups, eating more canned vegetables, and they overload themselves in sodium, which puffs them up, makes them retain water, and then they're like, why am I not losing this weight? It's all the excess sodium. Check your spices. Even something as simple as Seasonall can have 350 milligrams per 1 gram of use. A brand I like to use is Mrs. Dash and McCormick, the Pinch Perfect. Got a lot of good seasoning in here and no sodium. They have a salt-free line. I know a lot of people like their coffee. I'm not a coffee drinker, but if I was, I would use almond milk. Check your creamers. 1 tablespoon is about 40 calories. You use 3 of these in the morning, 3 of these in the evening. You're adding about 120 each time to your calories in a day. Something as simple as pistachios. This has silicon dioxide in it, and sugar, and more sodium. 260 milligrams per 28 grams. While this package has unsalted, dry roasted pistachios, same thing, doesn't have any silicon dioxide, and 0 grams of sodium. Okay, just always check the ingredients and the nutritional label.